Let's go inside the courtroom now. The defendant is on the stand. He's still on direct examination by his attorney.
Dustin, where we left off yesterday, you had just returned from the library and eaten lunch. Can you tell me what happened after lunch?
So this was at the house. Caitlyn, Elowyn, and Vaylin were all playing in the girls' room. And at that point, I'm just kind of working on things, like kind of getting stuff set up for the weekend and the following week. And then every so often, I would go to the room just to ask, hey, what's going on? Is Brenda picking you up here? Are we meeting her somewhere? Just what's the plan? What is going on?
What did Caitlyn say in response?
She was not responding. She was completely ignoring me. Just kept playing with the girls. So about like every 15, maybe it was a half an hour, maybe every 15 minutes, a half an hour, I would come back and ask again, hey, what's going on? What is the plan? And she just kept ignoring me.
What did you think when she kept ignoring you?
So I don't know what's going on. So with backing up to what was happening prior to, again, she was saying that she didn't want to stay at the house, which is fine. But then all of a sudden Brenda isn't coming with us to the restaurant. She's not staying there. She wanted to come back to the house all of a sudden. I'm confused about what is going on. There's a lot going through my head. And one of the things that's in the back of my head, which is why I'm bringing up these stories in the first place, is that the last time she was ignoring me and not telling me what was going on was when she stole Vaylin out of Nevada.
At some point, did you tell Caitlyn that she couldn't stay in your apartment anymore?
Yes. So this is when I'm continually asking her about what's going on. I'm saying, hey, I said that you could stay the night, but you can't stay longer. So what is the plan? You can't stay here. What is the plan? Like, if I need to drive you all the way back to Hampton, fine, but I need to know what is going on.
What was the next thing that she did besides just ignoring you and playing with the girls?
So eventually, at this point, it was getting dark. And eventually, as I'm saying this, she finally gets up. She still hasn't said anything, but she finally gets up and goes to the couch in the living room. And she's on her phone. I don't know what she's doing. It looks like she's texting. So I'm thinking, okay, progress is being made. Like, okay, I'm assuming she's texting Brenda. Okay, she's figuring something out. Good, we're making progress here.
Did you ask her again what the plan was?
So after, again, I don't know how long this would have been, maybe 10 or 15 minutes, but again, she wasn't saying anything. So I'm asking again, are you talking with Brenda? Like, what's going on? What's the plan? And she's still not saying anything. So at this point, like, I'm obviously pretty frustrated. At this point, I'm just saying, okay, you know what? You're not responding. We're clearly not getting anywhere here. So then I'm making the decision that then I'll drive you all the way back to Hampton. I'll drive you the 3 hours or whatever it is, all the way back there. But we need to leave now. You can't be here any longer. We need to leave now.
And what was going through your head at this point that you're telling her we need to leave now?
So again, I don't know what's going on. And again, in the back of my head, I'm thinking, oh, the last time that she wasn't communicating with me was in Nevada with Vaylin. And I don't know who she's texting. She's sitting on her phone. I don't know who she's texting. If, like, did people come to New Hampshire with her? I don't know. Was she texting other people to like come to the house and that's why she didn't want to leave? Like, I didn't know what was going on. I wanted her out of the house. I did not know the situation. I did not know what was going on, but something was happening. Something was seriously wrong. I wanted to get out of the house.
And what did you do next?
So at this point, this is when I get Valen and I start putting her in the car seat. And so I'm putting her in the car seat in front of the kitchen, sort of at the doorway in front of the kitchen, also in front of the doorway to the bathroom. And it's in the hallway that leads outside to the garage. So I'm putting her in the car seat. At this point, Elowyn she's still kind of playing in the room and going back and forth and seeing what we're doing. So at this point, she's out like, okay, we're going somewhere. So she comes out and she's standing behind me in the kitchen. And this is when Caitlyn gets up from the couch, grabs Elowyn, and then takes her back to the couch.
When she takes her back to the couch, how are the two of them seated?
So, yeah, after I finish buckling in Valen, then I go into the living room and I see, so Elowyn's sort of straddling Caitlyn's right leg. She's facing me, so like Elowyn's legs are on the outside of Caitlyn's right leg. And then she's facing out towards me, and at this point, just one arm, Caitlyn has one arm around Elowyn, like around her chest.
And what did you do when you saw Caitlyn holding Elowyn from behind?
So I just started saying, hey, what are you doing? We need to go. And at this point, this is really to where the first time she said anything in which she just said, no, I'm not leaving.
What did you do when she said, no, I'm not leaving?
So again, I start saying, no, we need to leave. We need to go. And at this point, I go up and I try to grab Elowyn. And what ends up happening is she pulls back on Elowyn and sort of yanks her out of my reach, like away from me. So she yanks her back, and I immediately step back, going, whoa, 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 what is going on? What are you doing? Let Elowyn go.
And so Caitlyn yanks Elowyn back. How is she holding Elowyn at this point?
So at this point, just again this was with, I guess probably one arm at this point, but holding her across the chest and then like yanking her backwards.
And you said you let go. Why did you let go?
Because I couldn't hurt Elowyn. I didn't want her to be hurt.
And what did you do next after you let go?
So I'm really trying to ask, like, what is going on now? Like something is seriously wrong. What is going on? And this is where she first starts really talking, and where now she's making these demands for just a substantial amount of money that there's no way that I could pay her. And I'm telling her this, like, I can't get you this kind of money. Like, I don't have this kind of money. I'm paying you what I can. I'm sending you what I can. I can't pay this. And then at this point, this is where she's saying, or now threatening, that then, oh, if I can't pay her, then she's gonna say that I kidnapped Elowyn from Minnesota without her permission, and that she was gonna call the cops and have me arrested, and that then I would never see the kids again.
And just to be clear, had you kidnapped Elowyn from Minnesota without Caitlyn's permission?
No.
And what are you thinking at this point that you're hearing these threats?
So at this point, I think the best way to describe this, I think, is in like a Marine Corps color code system. So it's like a situational awareness, like an internal radar system, but to where just naturally, just a normal person would just be in white. Like their radar is off. They're not, like you're walking into a restaurant and you're not concerned with Like, you're not thinking about threats. You're thinking about, like, what's there to eat. But I think combat vets, probably police officers, I think can say the same thing, that they're probably going into a restaurant and they're just kind of aware of maybe suspicious people or suspicious things that are around, or they want to sit in a corner booth or with their backs against the wall so that they can visually see things. So that's just a natural yellow, like your radar's on a natural yellow.
And what is your radar on most of the time?
Yellow. So I'm constantly on yellow.
And at this point, as Caitlyn is making these threats, what does your internal radar do?
So now at this point, I'm in orange, which is, so I'm now seeing a potential threat. I'm seeing my child being restrained to where I can't get to her. I'm thinking of all the suspicious stuff that has been happening about how there's some sort of plan going on, but I don't know about what's happening. And now with these threats now and her not leaving, like something is seriously wrong, something is seriously happening. And with her now holding Elowyn hostage and making these demands, my radar's on, it's on orange. I'm seeing a potential threat, and now I'm observing what else is going on. So at this point, this is where I'm thinking, okay, weapons. Okay, my desk, or my gun is on my desk next to the couch. I'm thinking of the knives that are behind me. I'm thinking of the doorways, like the front door is behind me. I'm thinking, is it locked? I think it is. The front door, or the door that's in front of me is the back door towards the garage. And I'm thinking, okay, that door I think is unlocked. I'm conscious of, oh, she's been sitting on her phone. Is she texting someone? Are people coming to the house? Because I don't know what's going on. She's on her phone. Is people coming to the house? And that's why she doesn't want to leave. So now I'm thinking, I'm conscious of like the windows. Are there lights shining in the windows? Like, is someone pulling up? Are there car doors shutting? Are there people talking outside? I'm just listening for all this stuff. It's just this heightened sense, the situational awareness, where I'm just in a heightened state trying to figure out just everything that's going on.
And I'm thinking this guy's pants are on fire. What are you thinking as you're listening to Dustin Duren? Tell you something else I picked up on. He's barely making eye contact with that jury. If you look at him, he's looking down the whole entire time and then glances up, periodically glances at the jury. I wonder what they're thinking about him. I'll tell you a third thing I'm thinking about. These prosecutors better start objecting and get up, because he's bringing in a lot of hearsay here that should not be coming in. But by sitting there and not objecting, it's in. So now he's telling the jury that Caitlyn Naffziger is making demands, making threats, saying all these things. We don't know she said that. He's just saying it. I would have objected, but it's not my case. We'll be right back here on Court TV Live.
I ended up asking him if he loved me. He said, I don't know. I said, do you love her? He said, I don't know.
That set you off?
Someone was stabbed?
Yes, she's on the floor.
I didn't have the intent to kill Sarah. I really just wanted to scare them.
It looks more like fury than fear. Did you kill Sarah to possess what she had with Josh? Interview with a Killer. New episode Saturday night at 8 Eastern and Pacific. Only on Court TV.
Great to have you with us on this Monday morning. And let me show you the trials we're tracking for you here at Court TV this hour. Florida, we got the state's case rolling on in the trial against defendant Alicia Andrews. She's accused in the ambush shooting of rising rap star Julio Fulio. She's one of 5 suspects to be charged. Her case is going first. In Ohio, we just had Bianca Ellis sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole for stabbing to death 3-year-old Julian Wood. And in New Hampshire, we've got defendant Dustin Duren on the stand right now. This guy's claiming self-defense in the shooting death of his longtime girlfriend and the mother of his children, Caitlyn Naffziger. We hit the pause button where he was just starting to get to the crux of his testimony. So if you're just joining us, let me set the scene for you. This guy served in our military, and the way he's testifying, he's kind of acting like he's on the battlefield. He's saying he works in a yellow mode all the time, and suddenly, his words, not mine, he starts seeing orange. And it goes from orange to red when he claims that Caitlyn was making statements and pulling back one of his children, refusing to leave. Let's go back in.
And what do you do while you're in this heightened state? What do you ask Caitlyn?
So I'm now again, I'm just trying to say, hey, just let Elowyn go. Like really just let Elowyn go. And trying to figure out like what is going on. And again, she's just talking about these, like how she wants money. And if I can't pay her this money, then I need to sell my car and give her the money from my car. And again, I'm trying to explain, like, I can't do this. I'm sending her what I can. I can't send her this money. And then she just continually threats that, okay, then you're never going to see the girls again.
She tells you you're never going to see the girls again?
Yes.
And what was she doing while she was telling you she's going to take your girls and you'll never see them again?
She's holding Elowyn hostage in front of me, using her as leverage to try to get what she wanted.
What are your daughters doing at this point?
So Elowyn's crying, and this is why I'm saying, like, Elowyn, like, she's smart. She knows when something wrong is happening. So she's crying already. Valen's crying. She's in the hallway, and I can't specifically see her. Like, at this point, too, I can't take my eyes off of Elowyn or Caitlyn. And like, I don't even want to go into the kitchen to check on Valen. Like, I can't just take my eyes off of them. This potential threat, I can't go over there and check on Valen. So that's stressing me out too, of Valen crying in the hallway. It's just adding to the stress.
So what do you do?
So at this point, I'm saying again, just let Elowyn go. And I try to grab Elowyn again. And at this point, again, now I'm trying harder to get her. So now Caitlyn is trying harder to keep her away from me. So again, she's pulling Elowyn in tight and yanking her away from me. And so again, I back up because I don't want Elowyn to get hurt in this situation.
And what do you do after the second time you try unsuccessfully to get Elowyn out of this situation?
So at this point, and this is when I'm talking about the point that I'm yelling. At this point, I am yelling. I'm yelling like, what the hell do you want? I'm just screaming like, what the hell do you want? What is going on? Like, let Elowyn go. And she's refusing to do it. She's just saying no, like, I need to pay her. And again, if I wasn't doing that, then I was never going to see the girls again.
And what was Caitlyn doing? You've said what she was saying, but how is she holding Elowyn at this point?
So she's still got her at this point, still one arm, like maybe the other arm is like on her hand or something. Like, this isn't full bear hug. This is like one arm around her chest, but yes.
And what is going through your mind?
So I'm trying to figure out what to do. Just with everything that's going on, I'm trying to figure out, like, how can I get Elowyn out of this situation? And I'm just pleading, like, please just let Elowyn go. Just please let her go. And at this point, she's not responding. And to her phone, I'm noticing to her phone, because her phone was sitting down on the couch at this point, but it was on the couch and it was flashing, like white flashes, like she's getting texts or something like that. So again, I'm like, I don't know what's going on. All I'm thinking of is I need to get Elowyn out of this situation, just getting out of here.
And you had said earlier that what was going through your mind was that Caitlyn had kidnapped Valen before.
Yes.
Overall,
What's different this time?
I mean, the big difference is because she's literally holding Elowyn hostage in front of me. She's using her as leverage to try and get what she wants.
And what are you saying at this point?
Again, I'm just pleading for her to just let Elowyn go. And yeah, she's just not, at this point, she's just not responding to me anymore.
What do you do next?
So this is when I try to make this final attempt to get Elowyn. So my thought is, okay, I'll try to grab like Caitlyn's wrist that's across Elowyn. I'll try to grab her wrist. I'll try to get behind Elowyn's back to pull her away, to like simultaneously pull her arm and pull her away. So when I attempt this, when I try to do this, then that's when Caitlyn goes full bear hug. She's then squeezing Elowyn harder. She's yanking her away, like twisting her body and yanking her away from me. And two, she's putting her right foot up on the table. So her knee is up, and so Elowyn, being straddled on her leg, she puts her knee up, braces it on the table, and is also using her leg to pull Elowyn back away from me. And just the big thing that happened here is Elowyn screaming, Elowyn yelling. And that was the point to where, again, I let go after Elowyn's scream. And I'm locking eyes with Elowyn, and she's crying. She just let out this scream, and this is where, when I'm talking about the line was crossed, this is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Elowyn now physically being hurt in front of me. And that was the line.
And what's going through your mind at this point when you've locked eyes with Elowyn and you can see that she's been hurt?
So then this is probably the best way to describe this, again, is through this system, this color system, to where now I'm going from orange to red, to where I see an immediate danger. I'm seeing an immediate threat to Elowyn, and I have to take action immediately to save Elowyn. And that's really what's going through my head. The single thing of, I have to get Elowyn out of this situation immediately.
What do you do?
So this is where I'm talking about, to where I say it's like, it was like muscle memory. It was like training coming out, to where I didn't have to think about what was happening. It was like, I was trained for this, and this is what I'm supposed to do. But I take then, and this is also, again, this is, like I said, it was really, really fast. The entire thing probably took like 3 to 5 seconds max. I take the 2 steps over, grab the gun. As I'm taking probably the 3 steps back over, I'm chambering around into the gun. I grab Elowyn by the shirt collar, the front of her shirt collar. I pull her forward, not to me. I pull her forward to get some sort of distance between her and Caitlyn, pull her forward, and then fire.
What? So he's saying his daughter's right there and he's got a hand on her while he's firing the gun at Caitlyn Naffziger, the mother of his kids. Are you buying what this guy's selling? Let's bring in Sonny Slaughter, our law enforcement analyst guest this hour. Sonny, your thoughts on what this guy's telling the jury?
I had a lot of thoughts. Good morning, Julie. If this guy is so full of, he is so fake, okay? Let me just tone it down a little bit. He is, if a clown was a clown, it would be him, okay? He is lying. All of this and muscle memory, and I pulled the baby down, and okay. If drama was a queen, it would be Duren, because he is just so exaggerating and situational awareness. How is it that his father is in law enforcement? He was in the military. He felt such threat. He didn't know who was coming. Did he not think to pick up the phone and call the police and say, I have a situation here? And then to fire a weapon with his level of training, right in close proximity to his daughter, who was in such danger. He did not think that that child could have flexed back, been hit by a bullet. Anything could have happened. He is so full of it. He is just clowning and just overreacting. He needs to get off the stand, because he has just cooked his own goose with this foolish testimony that he has given. I'm just sitting in the back. He has gotten on my nerves.
I love you, Sonny. I'm with you, my friend. I am not buying anything this guy is selling. And, you know, and what makes it even more unbelievable, when we're talking about a struggle, let's just say, for the sake of our analysis, that let's just say this mother is incredibly strong and she's got the child. He just slipped up and said he was able to pull the child away from her. So if you accomplish the mission, you know, Mr. Marine, if you accomplish the mission, got the child out of the hands of, you know, this woman he's making out to be a monster, then what do you need to fire the gun for? You had your hand on the child, you pulled her away successfully, and yet you still fired.
Exactly. He is really creating a narrative that is for a made-for-television cast, where he is the star and he has saved his children. Where was the threat? Where was the actual threat that they were in such danger? Caitlyn did not have a vehicle. She did not have any place to go. She did not have anywhere to go. She was refusing to leave. So why didn't he just call the police and ask for them to remove her? If he's on the birth certificate, he's identified as the father. He didn't kidnap his own child. He has a right to custody unless they have some kind of custody order in place where he does not have the right to take her. This is all made up to cover his murder of the child's mother. That's all this is.
Sonny, excellent points. We're going to talk more about Caitlyn Naffziger coming up on the other side of the break. You mentioned she didn't have a vehicle. There's also testimony that she's on the couch, cuddled up underneath a blanket. So does this sound like a situation of danger and imminency of death or serious bodily harm to her girls? Does it sound like that to you? Because that's the legal threshold that this defense team has to get forward in their burden of production if they want to have this self-defense and defense of others theory hold any water in the trial. So we'll hit a pause button. We'll go back in and watch more of this guy live after the break.
During your time in the military, can you estimate how often you discharged a weapon, or how many times?
Thousands, probably tens of thousands.
And what did discharging a firearm tens of thousands of times do?
It gets instilled in you. I guess you could say you could do it in your sleep. It's just so ingrained in you that they really want you to do it with, basically without conscious thought. Like it just, it's so drilled in you over and over.
Dustin Duren on the stand. during his homicide trial right now. He is up there, and we're about to see a little more of the direct examination. We hit the pause button on his testimony. Let's go back in together live. He just left off where he fired the gun at Caitlyn Naffziger.
Is Elowyn still in Caitlyn's arms when you shoot?
Yes.
What happens after you fire?
So immediately after I shoot, so I'm holding Elowyn by the collar. She's, again, Caitlyn is still bear hugging Elowyn at this point, but the moment I shoot, that's when Caitlyn releases. I pull Elowyn fully into me, and I immediately run out the door and run to my car.
After you run to your car, what do you do?
So once I'm in the car, this is when, again, the very first thing I'm thinking of is I need to make sure that Elowyn is okay. So we sit down in the car, and I'm just checking her over, like physically, to make sure that there is nothing wrong with her, that there's no physical injuries wrong with her. I'm like checking through her hair to make sure that there's just nothing wrong. And there wasn't, but all she's complaining about is she's covering her ears and saying loud, loud. But she's still responding to me. I know she can still hear me, but she's just complaining that it was loud. And as I'm checking her over, I'm not seeing anything physically wrong with her. There's also nothing on her. So I'm making sure that she was okay, and she was physically okay.
Once you make sure that Elowyn is physically okay, what happens next?
So at this point, this is when I said this, to where this is when I realized what had happened, to where, like, consciously I'm realizing this wasn't just someone that I shot. This was Caitlyn. This was someone that I cared about, who was important to me and my family and my kids. This wasn't just some random person. And I immediately felt horrible. And I didn't understand what was going on. Like, why was this happening? What just happened? Why was this happening? I didn't understand it. So at this point, I'm just trying to figure out what am I supposed to do? I didn't know what I was supposed to do at this point. I'm not thinking like, yeah, I'm not thinking, oh, I'm justified actually because of XYZ. I'm thinking, no, I just shot someone that is not just a random person. This was Caitlyn. I didn't know. I'm trying to figure out what to do. And this is again to when just sort of basic instinct is coming out, to where I'm thinking, well, I need to make sure that my kids are okay. So I'm thinking, okay, Elowyn is physically okay, but I need to make sure that she's mentally okay too. I need to, because again, I don't know who she was texting, if people were coming to the house. I didn't know what was going on. I wanted to get out of the area, out of the immediate area first. And I wanted to spend time with the girls to make sure that they were mentally okay. So at this point, this is where I'm literally running into the house, just grabbing necessities. I'm like, okay, I'm just grabbing clothes. I'm grabbing blanket. I'm grabbing a pillow. I'm like grabbing what I like, food, water. I'm just grabbing.
From his lawyers, I am grabbing my head and cringing right now at this testimony. I guarantee you, this guy made this decision, thinks he's helping himself. I'm sure this is against the good advice from his counsel. Let's hit a break. When we come back, more from defendant Dustin Duren.
Amber Alert triggered by a deadly shooting and 2 girls taken by their father.
But did Dustin Duren shoot the mother of his children in self-defense?
The Amber Alert murder trial. Live coverage today on Court TV. This week on Opening Statements.
These are the biggest true crime cases across the country, and we have you covered each weekday morning before the proceedings begin.
Opening Statements with Julie Grant. Mornings at 8, 7 Central on Court TV.
Back to the defendant on the stand in New Hampshire. He's still on direct.
I'm just grabbing necessities to just bring back to the car. This all probably took maybe 5 minutes total as I'm just running in the house and just grabbing things. I know, I grabbed my computer and my hard drive. I guess it was because, okay, my computer is my life outside of my kids. Like, this is where I do all my work. Like, my hard drive, literally the only thing that's on my hard drive is all backups of my work. So I guess I'm just thinking like, oh, well, this is a necessity. I just have to grab it. So I just grab it. And as I put all this stuff in the car, then immediately take off after that probably took like 5 minutes.
Did you turn out the lights and deadbolt the door?
I mean, I guess. I don't consciously remember doing it, but I guess it makes sense because that's just what I would normally do. Like, hey, I'm leaving the house, I'm turning off the lights, I'm locking the door. I mean, deadbolting the door, I don't even think I had the key to the actual doorknob. I think the only key I had was for the deadbolt, so I guess it was just something natural that I would do as I'm leaving the house, is just turn off the lights and lock the door.
And so, have you also put Valen in the car at this point?
Yes, Valen's in the car as well, yes. If it's not obvious, she was the very first thing I went and got from the house, yes.
And what did you do next once you had packed up the car?
So at this point, I immediately got out of the immediate area. And Elowyn and Valen, they both fell asleep pretty much immediately once I started driving. So I just kept going. I just kept driving. Eventually, I got to Concord and to where they're both awake at this point. And I wanted to, again, make sure that they were mentally okay. So I park, I think this was at like a CVS or a Walgreens or something. I park in a parking lot. And I sit down with them, I'm talking with them, I'm just making sure they're okay. I'm not talking about what just happened, I'm just asking if things are okay. And talking to Elowyn specifically, I knew Valen was her same old happy self, so I wasn't worried about Valen, and she wasn't even in the room when this was going on. But Elowyn, I'm talking to Elowyn, and she seemed good. She kept saying like, I'm okay, Dad, I'm okay. And so at this point, now I'm thinking too, okay, well, I haven't received any texts from anyone. I don't know. Again, I don't know if people were coming to the house. I haven't heard anything. I don't know what's going on. I don't even know if anyone knew what had happened. So I'm thinking I have to tell somebody. So at this point, I do 3 things. First I make a video just showing that we're all okay, that Elowyn and Valen specifically, that they're happy and that they're okay. So I just record a video. I'm telling Elowyn that I love her, and she's saying, I love you too, Dad, and I'm hugging her. And then Valen, I'm saying I love Valen, and Elowyn says, oh, I love you too, Valen, and we're just hugging and just making a recording showing that we're okay and we're happy, and that we're okay. And then I send that to my parents.
All right, let's pause it right here. Let's bring back in our law enforcement analyst guest. She's also a jury consultant as well in litigation matters. Let's bring in Sunny Slaughter here. Sunny, what do you think these jurors might be thinking of Mr. Duren?
I think that they are looking at him, listening to him, and saying, he is a clown. They cannot believe that this man could truly think that he just murdered the mother of his children, and that the children are okay, that the baby that witnessed it, that is holding her ear at the doctors, is just saying, oh, I'm okay, Dad, I'm okay. Okay, now let me get professional. I do not think that they would find him credible because he's not looking at them, so he has no eye contact. He is running a narrative, has no real attachment to the narrative. So it's almost like he's just telling a story. I think that the jury is probably thinking that he is not credible, that he has made up this story, and that he is doing more harm to himself than he is good with the narrative that he is telling, expecting them to believe it.
Yes, I'm in agreement with you, Sonny. I think those jurors are getting ready to call the fire department on him. I say pants on fire, Dustin Duren, and it's only going to get worse, right? Because the cross is coming. This is direct. If we're seeing what are apparent lies because of lack of reasonability going on here in this narrative, what's going to happen on cross? Get ready for that. Sunny Slaughter, much thanks to you for watching and weighing in on this one with us. We'll see you soon. And friends at home, we're going to see you right after the break. Don't go anywhere. We're back in just 4 minutes for more Court TV Live.
This is Court TV Live. I'm Kelly Craft, in today for Ted Rowlands. We are in New Hampshire this morning, where defendant Dustin Duren is back on the stand for a second day. This is in the Amber Alert murder trial. The 38-year-old is claiming self-defense in the shooting death of his longtime girlfriend, Caitlyn Naffziger. Duren claims he was forced to shoot her and flee with their 2 young daughters after she threatened to kidnap the girls unless he paid her money. Let's get you back into the courtroom now. More testimony from Dustin Duren.
The second thing I do, because I was already thinking this before I had called my parents, but I was thinking again, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what was the right thing to do in this moment. And I didn't understand what was even happening at this point. What had happened, like the why, the what, but anyways, so I'm thinking, okay, I still want to spend more time with the girls. I want to, again, just make sure that specifically Elowyn is mentally okay. So I'm going on Google Maps, and I'm sort of planning a route west because I knew I was going to shut my phone off. So I'm planning a route southwest through New York, and I'm writing it down on a Post-it note, which the Post-it note that was still in the car, so you could literally see the route that I took. But I write it down on the Post-it note, and then 3, I call my parents.
Who do you speak to specifically?
So specifically, I call my mom, and I don't tell her anything specifically what happened. I just tell her that I shot Caitlyn, that the girls were okay, that I was gonna go dark for a little bit, as in turn my phone off, specifically because I didn't want anyone to find us at that point. I wasn't trusting anyone else to make sure that my girls were okay in that moment. Like, I was the only one that could make sure that my girls were okay. So I didn't want to be found at that moment. So anyways, I'm telling my mom this, and I'm telling her, hey, you also need to call the cops to make sure that they know what happened. And that was the extent of the conversation. I didn't tell her anything more than that.
Which of your parents did you think would call the cops?
I mean, I guess I would assumed it would be my dad, and especially as a retired deputy. I mean, I assumed he would be the one to do it.
What did you do after you talked to your mom?
So at this point, this is where I did turn off my phone. And again, I just started driving southwest. So I drove kind of throughout the night and made it somewhere into New York. To where it was specifically at a Love's gas station, and again, you could figure out where exactly I was from the Post-it note that I wrote down, like the directions on the Post-it note. You could find this gas station. But anyways, so I stopped there. I parked up. There was a gate or a fence in front of me. Pulled up to that, and that was overlooking the freeway. Just pulled up to that, and then just the girls and I slept in the back seat and just slept for the night.
What did you do when you woke up?
So we woke up, everyone, again, Elowyn seemed good. She just seemed like her happy self. I mean, we go into the gas station. I mean, we're using the restroom there. Where her interactions with Valen were all good, and everything seemed like she was acting normal, completely fine. We had breakfast there, and this is really at the point to where, because one of the things I was thinking of doing was to drive all the way back to Minnesota to get my kids to my parents, because no one knows my kids better than my parents. No one has been more involved with my kids than my parents. So they were my first thought of who could take care of them. So I was thinking of, okay, well, maybe I'll drive all the way back to Minnesota. But again, that seemed like a bad idea because just with the two girls, I mean, specifically with Valen too, being so young, it just didn't seem like a good idea. But to get back to it, Elowyn specifically, again, she just seemed fine. She kept saying that, yeah, she's okay. And her interaction specifically with Valen, her interaction specifically with me, she seemed like her same old self. And this is really at the point to where I was thinking, okay, I'm not going to drive all the way back to Minnesota. I should probably turn myself in at some police station. And why I was thinking Concord specifically was because that's where I had originally called, and that was the last place my phone was, or where my phone was on. So that's just why I was thinking Concord. But anyways, so I started driving back. Took the same path back that I had originally driven. And then started thinking that, okay, now I want to get brunch with the girls. And it probably is fair to say that, yeah, I was probably delaying things. And that's probably fair to say that I probably was just delaying things, but I just thought, okay, I want to have brunch with them.
Before
And
what?
Before turning myself in. So.
Did you have brunch with them before you turned yourself in?
No.
What happened?
So, as I'm driving through Keene, so I just entered New Hampshire, and I'm driving through Keene, and I'm looking at restaurants, and as I said before, I see the Applebee's. I'm not looking at anyone else. By the way, I never even knew that there was an Amber Alert. I didn't even think about that would happen. So I didn't know that this was anything other than just police were trying to find me. I didn't think about anything. So anyways, I'm not like looking around at other people. I'm just looking at the Applebee's. And I've never been to Keene before. I've not been to this Applebee's. So I'm just trying to figure out like how do I get into the Applebee's? So I'm like taking a left, and then I'm like, okay, well now there's a median and I can't turn left into the Applebee's. So I'm like going around this roundabout and going back right, and I'm like taking a right, and I guess I turned into the convenient MD, I guess, but then obviously that's not the Applebee's, so I'm pulling in farther through it, and I pull up in front of, literally right in front of the door to the Applebee's.
And then what happens?
So I'm just looking at the hours sign. I'm trying to see the hours, and it was closed, but I'm just trying to look out my window, just trying to see the hours, and that's when I noticed the police officer behind me, and I honestly, I can't remember if he had lights on. I don't remember that. He didn't have a siren on.
What did you do when you noticed the police officer?
So at this point, I'm like, okay, well, now even if he's just pulling me over just for some random thing, they're probably going to look up my plate and then see something like that this call was made or whatever. So at this point, I pull forward into a parking spot, and then I'm leaning back. Elowyn and Valen were still asleep at this time. I'm leaning back, and again, I'm thinking like, man, I really just want to hug them. And so I'm leaning back. I'm unbuckling Valen, reaching back, unbuckling her seat, and I'm trying to wake them both up. Like, Elowyn, Valen, hey, wake up, wake up. And they're both starting to wake up. But at this point, this is when I start hearing people outside, like the officers outside, yelling at me to whatever, get my hands on the steering wheel or put them on the window. So at this point, I didn't want to do anything further. Like, I'm gonna follow their commands. I didn't want anything to happen to Elowyn and Valen. Want to make sure that everything was good, so I was fully cooperating.
And what did you tell them?
So immediately I'm just yelling like, hey, there's kids in the car, just making sure that they know there's kids in the car. Like, be mindful of your weapons. There is kids in the car.
And what else do you tell them?
So as I'm backing up, and as I'm backing up and they're putting me in handcuffs, then I'm yelling too about how there's a gun in the door. So
why are you telling them there's a gun in the door?
Because it's loaded, and specifically it's in condition 1, so there's a round in the chamber, and the only reason is just because I didn't actually clear it afterwards. I didn't like take the magazine out and like unchamber the round. I just left it, just put it on safe, left it, or set it in the door, the driver door.
Why did you tell them that the gun was there?
But just to make sure that they knew that there was a gun in the door. Like, I don't want them, like, whatever, bumping it or like grabbing it accidentally or just something, whatever. Just trying to be safe and just letting them know where a weapon is in the car.
And then were you taken into custody?
So yes, and then that's when, yes, specifically I'm put in that one police cruiser. The detective did come up to me prior to in the doorway, and he didn't really say much. He was just asking if I was okay, just if I wanted anything, if I needed food or something.
So let's talk about what happened when you were interviewed by the police, or when you spoke to the police.
Yes.
Why did you decide to give up your right to remain silent and talk to the police?
And I felt like that was the right thing to do. I mean, I didn't have anything to hide. I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm like, maybe I can talk this through, and like they'll help me try to figure this out of what just happened. But I'm just trying to do the honorable thing, just trying to do the right thing.
How long after the incident did you speak to police?
So this was, I don't know how, like 15 hours? Like 15 hours later? So really short time. So, I mean, too, again, I'm clearly in shock too, because I don't know, like, again, I'm still trying to figure out like the what, the why, the how, like, what is going on. But
listening to the defendant in this case describing the moments he was talking to police, saying he was just trying to figure this whole thing out himself. Let's squeeze in a break. We're coming right back. You're watching Court TV Live, your front row seat to jump.
I ended up asking him if he loved me. He said, I don't know. I said, do you love her? He said, I don't know.
That set you off?
Someone was stabbed?
Yes, she's on the floor.
I didn't have the intent to kill Sarah. I really just wanted to scare them.
It looks more like fury than fear. Did you kill Sarah to possess what she had with Josh?
Sorry.
Interview with a Killer. New episode Saturday night at 8 Eastern and Pacific. Only on Court TV.
Back to court in just a moment. But first, here's a quick look at some of the other cases that we are tracking here at Court TV. In Florida, day 4 of testimony is underway for a young woman accused of gunning down local rapper Julio as part of an ongoing gang war. In Wisconsin, opening statements, they are underway in our newest live trial for a man accused of killing his longtime girlfriend and then dumping her body on the side of the road. Also, we are in Virginia. Jury selection is underway in a civil lawsuit filed by a teacher who was shot by a 6-year-old student. Abby Zwerner is asking for $40 million after she says the assistant principal failed to act on repeated warnings about the child's behavior. We will keep you updated on all of these trials throughout the day here at Court TV, but for now, let's head back to New Hampshire. This is the Amber Alert murder trial. Still on the stand is the defendant, Dustin Duren. Let's go back in.
yeah, anyways.
And tell us what's going through your head. You know, what's kind of your emotional state while you're being interviewed?
So I'm not thinking of like, legally I'm justified, so this is completely fine. I'm thinking, no, I just killed someone, but not just someone. This wasn't just like a random person that was in the house. This was Caitlyn. This is the mother of my kids. This is like, I'm feeling just this incredible, really personal guilt of like, how did this happen? Like, and there's this battle in my head of, I don't feel like I did something, like, I don't feel like this is my fault. Like, I didn't want this. Like, I didn't put this position together. Like, I wasn't the one who brought this all together. I'm not the one who was like holding Elowyn hostage in front of me. I'm not the one that like was trying to plan all this stuff. Like, but at the same time, I still fired the shot. So I'm I didn't know. I felt this really big, just personal guilt.
In your police interview, you told police it was definitely very fast and deliberate. And then a moment later, you said it was very, very fast, very deliberate. What did you mean when you said it was fast and deliberate?
So, again, with the fast, again, this, like I said, the entire process maybe took 3 seconds, like maximum 5 seconds. So again, incredibly fast. But two, I'm speaking about the physical action. I'm not talking about any sort of mental state. I'm talking about the physical action. But what I mean is like how meticulous it was, like how perfectly performed it was, to where, and especially with how fast it was, for everything to happen within 3 to 5 seconds, like those 2 steps, grabbing it, chambering it, the 3 steps back at the same time, the grabbing Elowyn, the firing, it was so fast and so meticulously performed. That's what I was trying to express.
So like the physical action was deliberate?
The physical action, yes.
All right, you also told the police, it doesn't matter if she was threatening, I understand the consequences. What did you mean when you told the police, it doesn't matter if she was threatening, I understand the consequences?
Because again, this just goes back to like the biggest thing with all of this, like with everything, regardless of anything. My children don't have a mom anymore. And there's just this incredible personal guilt of, like, even without me understanding what had happened, and now even to when I do understand what happened, now, like, I could have prevented this situation from happening. I could have been this better partner. I could have been a better leader, to where she would not have to even plan this out. Like she wouldn't have to go to people like Brenda or be coerced into trying to do stuff like this. Like I should have been this better person, to where this situation shouldn't have even happened.
You told the police that you didn't know if you wanted to address whether you regretted shooting Caitlyn, and that it felt like a trap question. Why did it feel like a trap question?
So either response felt like the wrong response. So if I said yes, that I regretted shooting her, then that would mean that, oh, so previously I did want to, but now I don't. Well, that's incorrect. So that felt like a wrong response. But then if I say no, then that means, then I just don't care that she's dead, which is also a wrong response. So it felt like whatever I said was just not the right answer.
Along the same lines, you said, not that it even justifies anything, but she's just my everything. What did you mean by that?
So again, like I don't mean to just keep rehashing the same thing, but obviously Elowyn's the purpose in my life. I mean, she really is my everything, and just like trying to understand what had happened. Just trying to figure out Like, did it matter? Like, how much did that matter? Did it matter that she was hurting Elowyn in front of me? Did it matter that she was holding her hostage? And I'm just, again, I just felt so horrible for it that I'm just trying to, I don't know. I'm trying to do the right thing.
Give me 1 minute, Dustin. Dustin, at this point, I don't have any more questions for you.